Hey guys, Anthony here. I'm going to start doing these daily devotionals, whether it's going to be once a day, once a week, a couple of days, but every now and again I'm going to do these daily devotional videos where to give you a little snippet and to give me the opportunity just to speak that I enjoy doing. I enjoy speaking. I enjoy teaching. It's a gift that God has given me. I'm not the best, but I'm not the worst. This is going to be an opportunity for me to just kind of do it. And so I hope you enjoy it. If you don't, it's okay. You can tell me later because God loves me and God loves you, so it's all good. So you can tell me if you don't like me. It's good. So the first thing we'll do is this. It's called the illusion of freedom. And the first verse is John 8:31-32. It says, "If you continue to obey my teachings, you are truly my followers. Then you will know the truth. And the truth will make you free." That's John 8:31-32. So what does God have to do with freedom? You may be sitting there thinking, well, I live in America, I'm free, I can do whatever I want, I've got the freedom to do whatever I want. But really, do you have the freedom of life that you think you have? What does God have to do that? Well, there's three things that I want to kind of put out there that God has something to do with. And the first one is God offers freedom from life's pressure. God offers freedom from life's pressure. Matthew 6, verse 24-34, it says, "Don't worry about things. Will all your worries add a single moment to your life?" What that's saying right there is will all your stress, all the worries, all the problems that you have, if worrying about all that, will all of that make you have another day's life? Will it help you in your daily life? And then it goes on and says, "If God cares so wonderfully for flowers that are here today and gone tomorrow, won't He more surely care for you? So don't be anxious about tomorrow. God will take care of your tomorrow too. Live one day at a time." See, this for me, this is something that this speaks to me personally. I have a bad problem about stressing about things that God has control over. That God says that you do what I say, and you just listen and follow me, and I'll plan everything out, and I'll get it all working out ready for you. You see, this is where the pressure of life, whatever that is, God says, stop worrying, stop stressing, let me do what I said I was going to do, and I'll be fine. It says, so don't be anxious about tomorrow. God will take care of your tomorrow too. Live one day at a time. You see, we're always worried about the future. What are we going to do about the future? Now, I'm not saying, and God's not saying, like, don't worry and don't plan out, don't just live one day freely. Like, that's not what God's saying. God's saying, don't worry about the stress of tomorrow, today. Because the thing is, there's nothing that you can do or stress about today that's going to fix tomorrow. So no matter what it is in your life, no matter what issues, problems in your life, know that God's pressure, or the pressure that's on you, God can give you freedom from that. And all you have to do is be willing to give it to Him, to let Him take it, and to run away with it. Because you can't do anything about it. There's no sense in you stressing over things that you cannot handle. It's so funny me sitting here talking about this because I'm living this moment out right now, right here in my life. There's things that I stress about, there's things that I worry about all the time. Like, it worries me sick, and Brittany tells me over and over and over, just let God do His thing. Let God plan it out. Listen to God. But see, for me, it's not that easy. Like, I struggle with it and I fight it. And the thing is God says, don't be anxious about tomorrow. God will take care of your tomorrow. Live one day at a time. That's good stuff. And the second way God helps us with freedom is God offers freedom from performing. In 1 Samuel 16:7, it says, "God does not see the same way people see." People look at the outside of a person, but the Lord looks at the heart. I think so many times we're worried about what people think about us. So we do our best, we act our best, we act and look our best. And we worry about what people think about us, around us. And it says in this verse, 1 Samuel 16:7, it says that people will look at the outer side of the person, but God looks at the heart. And here's what you need to know. No matter what you do or what you say, the way you look, if your heart's in the right place, then there's nothing that you've got to worry about. There's nobody that you've got to perform the best for other than God. So if your heart's right, know that God knows it and God sees it. And there's nothing that anybody else can do or say to take that away from you. God says that He will hold you in His hand. I think that is so amazing. You know, the psalmist says that if God is for me, then who could be against me? Listen, here's the thing you need to know this evening, is that God allows us to be us, no matter what. He knows our junk, He knows our issues, He knows our imperfections. And it says that He knows our heart. So if you continue to love people, love God, and serve Him in a way that nobody else can handle or see and understand, then you're good. The thing is God's not looking at what we look like or the way we dress or the way we perform in a sport or anything like that. God's looking at our heart. God don't care how many A's and B's you get. God doesn't care how many home runs and strikes you get. What God cares about is if you're using that for the right reason. Is your heart in the right place? Because if your heart's in the right place and you hit one home run, then God cares. If you say, God gave me the ability, God gives me the ability to do what I do, then God cares. But if you're doing it all for show, all for you, then God don't care. There's nothing in the heart about doing it for Him. Then the thing is you're performing for people and not performing for God. So no matter what it is, whether it's school, work, baseball, some sport, football, basketball, cheerleading, band, whatever it is, whatever you do, is your heart in the right place? Are you performing for God, or are you performing for self and for people? Because God doesn't care about the outside. God cares about your heart. And so because God cares about our heart and He looks at our heart, He frees us from the freedom of performing, the pressure of performing, and trying to do our best and be the best because we feel like we have to be. Thing is God says, no, you don't have to be the best, because I'm the best and I've already done the best. And all you have to do is to love me, love people, and I'll take care of it all. And the third thing is God offers freedom from your past. Romans 6:16 through 18 says you can follow sin or obey God. Sin brings spiritual death, but obeying God makes you right with Him. In the past you were a slave to sin. Sin controlled you. But thank God you fully obeyed the things that were taught to you. You were made free from sin, and now you are a slave to goodness. That's good to know. That God frees me from my past. My identity is not in my past and the things that I've done. The terrible things I've done, the bad things I've done, the issues that I've had. Like, that doesn't identify me. What identifies me is God. What identifies me is Jesus' blood that was shed for me. Listen, no matter what you've done or what you've said or how you've acted, it doesn't matter. Because the thing is God says that when you run after Him, and you accept His Son for what He did on the cross, that it doesn't matter anymore. That your stuff, your junk, doesn't matter anymore. Because God says your past doesn't control your future. So the things that you've done in the past doesn't create who you are in the future. The terrible bad choices you've made in the past doesn't control the choices that you make in the future. Remember that. As you go through life, as you go through school, as you go through work, that there's nothing in your past that can create the future. There's nothing in your past that controls the choices and the things that you do in your future. The past doesn't make decisions. You make the decisions in the now, in the right then. Know that there is nothing in your past that God can't push away. There's nothing in your past that God can't say, get away. You see, sin brings spiritual death. You see, sin, you are enslaved to sin, but until you give your life to Christ, you're enslaved to sin. But as soon as you get rid of it, as soon as you ask Christ to come into your life, to take over, then and only then are you freed from the bondage of sin. And all you have to do is say, Christ, come into me. Lord, take my life. Make me whole again. Make me new again. Lord, help me to be the man or the woman that I need to be. No matter where you're at or what you've done, God is always sitting there saying, come to me. Jesus is sitting there saying, come to me. With his hand reached out and saying, take it. Know that your sin does not control who you are. Your sin does not create a monster in the future that you can't get away from. Jesus takes all of that away so that you can have freedom from your past. And when you experience this freedom, you can celebrate protection from life's pressure. You can celebrate acceptance for who you are. And you can celebrate forgiveness for what you've done. So when you have pressures in your life, remember that God relieves that. God can pick it up and take control of it. And so you have protection from life's pressure. And God offers from the freedom, remember, from performing that you have acceptance in Him. And to celebrate forgiveness for what you've done. God sets you free from your past. When Jesus died on the cross and He stretched His hands out and took the nails, in that moment, in that time, He bared every sin that you would ever commit, that you ever had commit, ever will commit. In that one moment, He did it for everyone that will ever step foot on this earth. And see, when He done that, He created a way to have bondage from sin removed. And all you have to do is to ask for forgiveness and believe in who He is and to run after Him and to give your life to Him and commit to Him and who He is. Remember that you don't have to live under the pressure of life, that God frees you from it. Remember, you can you can have freedom from performing and trying to put your identity in all these things, because God says that He's enough for you. And that you can have identity in Him. And that He's not looking at what your performance is on the outside, but He's looking at your performance of your heart. And that you can be set free from. And know that God has set you free from your past. All you have to do is to give your life to Him and ask for forgiveness and move on. This has been Anthony with your Daily Devo. I hope this has helped you as much as it's helped me. I love you. Have a wonderful night. Peace.